What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of On the Card presented by TRHS Sports. It is Sunday, August 9th, and we are back for another day of my top betting picks. Yesterday was a rough day. Yesterday was not a good day. It all started with one of the all-time bad beats in the history of time. I'm telling you, you could probably go back throughout all of sports history, and you'd have a harder time finding a worse beat than what just happened in that Blazers game. I got them at plus 4.5 the day before. The Kawhi gets benched for the Clippers. The line moves 8.5 points. I have the greatest bet ever. The Blazers are winning the entire game. They look good. Get down to 26 seconds left. They're winning by 2. Their Clippers are playing all of their bench players. The Blazers have all their good players in. And what ends up happening? The Blazers give up a three-pointer to a guy who shoots 20%. They go down the court. Damian Lillard gets fouled. He's an 88% free throw shooter. He misses both free throws. They go down the court. They make both free throws. The Blazers come back. Dame misses a 3. The Clippers go down. They make 2 free throws. Now they're winning by 5. CJ McCollum runs up, shucks up a 3. It goes in the basket. We are excited. We covered. Everything is great. They come back from commercial break, and the three-pointer no longer counts. We lose it by half a point. In absolutely one of the most devastating things ever. And this kind of set the tone for the day. The Colorado-Seattle game, I'm not sure how many people watched that one. Colorado puts up a 4 spot. Seattle starts off the bottom of the 5th inning with runners on first and second, nobody out, grounds into a double play, and then hits stupid pop fly. Absolutely horrible. All we needed was 5 to at least push. We get 4. The Dodgers, minus 1.5 through the first 5 innings. They get no hit through the first 5 innings, and Clayton Kershaw has one of the worst starts I've ever seen him have outside of the postseason. Insane. Just bad luck on those two. Nothing you could really do. The Twins one was a bad read, but I thought Odorizzi actually, when Odorizzi was in the game, the Twins were winning 4-2. As soon as they pull him out, the next guy comes in, gives up 3 runs without ever getting an out. Absolutely terrible. And the Avalanche lose in overtime. Just a rough day. However, we did have the Suns minus 1.5. We had Denver Nuggets minus 1.5, and we had the Flyers Tampa Bay under 5.5. Meets our record 24-19, and most importantly, we are 11-4 in the NBA, which is where a lot of my bets are going to be today. Today is a full set of NBA games, which is really exciting. If you're an NBA fan, I think the games start here in just a second. For anybody who's an NHL fan, I know I'm recording this right before the Bruins and Washington go live. I'm not going to put any NHL bets on the card today. I don't trust myself enough with the NHL right now. I know I hit the under in the Tampa game yesterday. I'm just a measly 6-6 right now, though, and I don't really feel like I have a great read on these games. So I feel like I feel like if I give you anything today, I'm just going to be guessing. I'm going to be doing an entire write-up tonight, though. I'm posting it on my website, realphilwood.com. I'm going to be posting on my website all my playoff predictions and prop bets and bets that I think you should make for the series predictions, which I think will be fun. So make sure to check that out once all the series are actually organized. I'll be putting that out there on realphilwood.com. So make sure to check that out. But for the Bruins Capitals, I really have no read. The Bruins, they should have won a game by now. They're looking at possibly getting the 4th seed and having to play the Carolina Hurricanes in the first round, who just swept the New York Rangers. I feel like that could be dangerous for them. I don't know. Both of these teams, I look at this and I say they should both win. So I have no read on that at all. Stars and Blues, again, same situation. I just don't have a read on it. 2 teams that should have won a game by now somehow haven't. I don't really know where I lean on this one. I'd probably say the Blues money line is what I would take. However, I'm not going to touch it. The over-under is at 5. I'd probably go under on that, but that's just like I said, I'm just leaning. And then the Blue Jackets and Maple Leafs, you can forget it. Somebody just tell me to sit down and watch the game, and I'll sit there for 2.5 hours and enjoy every single second of it because it's absolute lunacy to watch them play. So I got no reads on those games, though. So, if you're looking for that type of thing, I can't really help you out there. If you want to check me out on bettingpros.com, my NHL Eastern Conference and NHL Western Conference best futures bets are coming out. I will give you guys all a hint. The Vancouver Canucks and New York Islanders are my 2 long shot picks if anybody was going to make a deep run based on that. So that's what I have for those things there. But I don't have anything else in the NHL. I can't give you guys a good bet here. I'm ice cold. Speaking of ice cold, I'm ice cold in the MLB. I am one of my last 6. Absolutely terrible. Before that, I was on a hot streak. I was 5-1. 5-1, and I've completely fallen apart. So I'm going to go back to the well one more time, and this is my only MLB bet of the day. We got Shane Bieber on the mound for the Indians, and I'm taking them at minus 130. They're going up against Giolito for the White Sox, who I know is their best pitcher. but Shane Bieber probably had the worst start he's going to have. He had like his one bad start last time, gave up 2 runs on home run. I like him to get it back together here and get everything under control. So, yes, thank you for greetings from Romania, and the Raptors will win easily against the Grizzlies. That's going to be something I talk about in just a second. But, yeah, the Indians, I'm going to take them minus 130. You got Shane Bieber on the mound. He's going to win the Cy Young. I really think so. So why not just go to that well to try to get out of this funk in the MLB? Cleveland Indians, putting them on the card. That's my only MLB bet of the day. If you're here for a lot of bets, you're going to be very disappointed because I have 5 total. Yesterday, I went a little too many, so I'm only doing 5, and 4 of them, like I said, are in the NBA, and 3 of them are in one game. Let me take a look at these games, though, just so you can all kind of hear what my thoughts are on why I'm not betting them, so that this isn't just a podcast that's 6 minutes long. Washington Wizards, Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder are favored by 9.5, over-unders at 222. I don't know what's going to happen with that total. I would probably lean under on that, but 222 in the bubble just feels like too low of a number because teams are putting up over 222 in no time, which is really, really difficult to judge and read. The Wizards plus 9.5, that feels about right. I don't want to touch that, though. I mean, the Wizards aren't that good, but Oklahoma City could also just not try very hard, and they could end up blowing them, or they could end up not winning by that much. I'm not going to touch this game again. Like I said on the last episode, we really just need to get to playoff time where we know who's going to be playing for teams and we know how hard they're going to be playing. I can't give you a good read on that Wizards Thunder game, though. I really wish I could. You look at the Grizzlies and the Raptors. Now, this one's interesting. This opened at 7.5. The Raptors were favored by 7.5, and it has dropped all the way to 6. This is a must-win game for the Grizzlies. Absolutely must win. The Raptors looked absolutely terrible against the Celtics. They might be thrown in the towel knowing they have the 2 seed locked up. That's all they're going to be able to get. They can't move up to the 1. They can't move down to the 3. They might be thrown in the towel and resting some people. However, the Grizzlies aren't that good. And the Raptors are way better than the Grizzlies. So I can't sit here and say, yeah, give me the plus 6. I liked the plus 7.5. I really did. Now that it's getting a 1.5 less. I mean, we're just getting smaller and smaller. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes off at plus 5.5 and the Grizzlies do lose by 6. So I'm going to stay away from this one. It's too risky to me. I don't like the way it's playing out. The over-under is at 221. I have no idea. If the Raptors play like they did against the Celtics, it goes over easily. If the Raptors play like they did the rest of the bubble, it goes under, no doubt about it. So I don't really have a good read on that one either. Then we go to the Spurs Pelicans, and I really like this game for a lot of different reasons. I'm going to stay away from the over-under in this game of 238. That's a really high number. I just don't want to go near it. Too big for me. But I do like some player props here, and I also like the Spurs at plus 3 against the Pelicans. The Pelicans haven't been that good, and everybody's just waiting for the Pelicans to get better and to start to put it all together and get everything going. But they haven't been that good. Meanwhile, you have the Spurs with Greg Popovich as their head coach have been playing really well in the bubble. They knocked off the Jazz. Yes, I know the Jazz weren't playing anybody. They knocked off the Grizzlies. They almost had the Sixers when the Sixers had Ben Simmons. They knocked off the Kings, and they lost by 6 to the Nuggets. Now they're going to play a Pelicans team that really has underperformed the entire bubble. Yes, I think Zion is going to get a lot of minutes today and a lot of points. Spoiler. But at the same time, it's really hard to say that this Spurs team should be underdogs against this Pelicans team. This Pelicans team lost 140 to 125 to the Kings and looked terrible the entire game. They get blown out by the Clippers. Yes, they beat the Wizards without Zion. Good for them. They beat the Grizzlies by 10. I can't get a good read on them. However, the Spurs have been consistently hanging around with teams. Plus 3 in a game that I think they could feasibly win. I would have thought that they would have been favored by 2. If I can get a team that I think is going to be favored as underdogs, I'm going to take it every time. It's exactly what I said with the Blazers the other day. I got burned by half a point, but that was a great read. I said yesterday that my 3 bets yesterday were the Blazers plus 4.5, Phoenix minus 1.5, and Denver minus 1.5. If you watch those games, my best bet out of all of those games was the Blazers. If you watch them play out, that was my best bet by far. And they lost. And that one didn't cover. But that was the one that was the most in control the entire time. The Nuggets had no business covering that. No business covering 1.5. So I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to go with the Spurs plus 3. I love it. I'm going to put that on the card. Spurs plus 3 against the New Orleans Pelicans. And no, I am not done with that game yet because I have plenty left to talk about there. I'm going to start off with the man himself, Zion Williamson. Zion is he's coming off of being benched against the Wizards. And I think that this was all because they knew they could beat the Wizards without needing Zion. And now it's time for Zion to play. Against the Grizzlies, Zion had 25 minutes, scores 23 points. Against the Kings, he goes 22 minutes and scores 24 points. Now, something to keep in mind, though, this is what you need to think about right here, is when he's going against the Kings, they're getting blown out. He doesn't play the entire fourth quarter. I think they're ready to play him about 30 minutes. I think it's time for them to play him about 30 minutes. I think they want to, and that's why they benched him against the Wizards, and they were ready to play him more against the Kings, but the Kings just beat them so bad that there was nothing they could do. I expect this game to be a lot closer. It's desperation time for both the Pelicans and the Spurs, essentially an elimination game. Whoever loses this is done because the Phoenix Suns are now somehow the number 10 seed in the NBA West. That's insane. So I'm going to take Zion Williamson here. Right now, his line, you got to shop around. There's some places that have him at 22.5. DraftKings has him at 21.5. Take him at 21.5. I love the over here of Zion Williamson, 21.5, and I'm putting that one on the card. I'm going to stick in this game, and I'm going to go with Derek White. I'm looking at him. So there's some books that have him at 18.5 points. I don't like that. But then there's other books that have him at 16.5 points. That's a full basket less. I know that doesn't sound like much, but a full basket in the NBA is a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Derek White over 16.5 points. Once again, that is on DraftKings. Go to DraftKings and get these. I don't know why they're not adjusting to what the other books have. Over 16.5 points. Derek White has been great inside the bubble so far. 24 against the Jazz, 23 against the Nuggets, 20 against the Sixers, 16 against the Grizzlies, 26 against the Kings. Drew Holiday, Lonzo Ball, they're going to be matching up against them. But I think this game is going to start to get out of hand in terms of scoring. That seems to be what always happens when the Pelicans play because the Pelicans don't play defense. Derek White, he needs 16 points. He's been putting in three-pointers like crazy. He has made 4 threes in every game except for when he played against the Grizzlies, which he made 3. I really like him to get at least 3 threes in this game, which puts him at 9 points. I just need him to find 8 more. I like him to get this done in this game. I think he's going to make it work, even against Lonzo and against Drew Holiday. And I think that we're going to be looking at a 3-0 day from this one game. I really do believe that. I'm feeling pretty good about this game because I think I'm still reading into the Pelicans being a little overhyped because people just want the Pelicans to be better than they are. Let's go on to the next game, which is the Orlando Magic Boston Celtics. I have nothing in this game. The Orlando Magic are 9-point underdogs. The over-under is at 220. Neither team has really anything to play for. I think the Celtics, if they win, they lock up the 3 seed. But that's not really the most motivation you're ever going to find for a team, especially as good as the Celtics. So I can't really get a good read on that. Meanwhile, the Magic, they've already wrapped up their playoff positioning. I think, well, they could drop to the 8, but I think at this point, like you're playing the Bucks, you're playing the Raptors, you might as well pack your bags and just go home. It's really not that big of a deal. So I don't know what we're going to get in this game. +9 is a huge number, one that makes me want to jump on, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stay away from it. And the over-under is just too hard to predict right now. Even the other day when I had the Grizzlies over-under of 224.5, it went under, and it was one of the worst bets I think I've ever made in my life to win, and I won by like 10 points. But at halftime, it was at 123. I had 101 points to work with in the second half. That is not a good feeling, and betting unders and trying to figure that out is not a good way to go about life. Moving on to the next one, the 76ers versus the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers are favored by 3 on their back-to-back here. Over-under is at 229. Ben Simmons, as I'm sure a lot of people have heard, is out with a knee injury. He's not going to be playing in this one. Everything in me is leaning Blazers, but I need to sit down and watch a Blazers game without having a bet on it, so I'm not going to put anything on this one. I just don't trust them after what happened yesterday. How do you bounce back? This is going to be a real test for this team. How do you bounce back when you blow a game to the backups of another team? How do you bounce back when your best player misses 2 free throws with 20 seconds left? How do you do it? And I wonder, we're going to see a lot about this Blazers team. They need this game in order to make the playoffs. I mean, their next 2 games are easy. They do have an easy schedule here down the stretch, but they need this game. They need to win this one. No Ben Simmons for the Sixers. Embiid's still going to be able to do work down low, but I think the Blazers ultimately get this one done. I'm not going to put a bet on it, but I would not be surprised if later on today you're getting a tweet from Russell Hantz saying that the Blazers over 3.5 wins finally hits and our future that we all placed in episode 1 goes through and we get it. -3, I'm not touching it. It started at -2. It's just going to keep growing, I think. I think we'll probably go off at -3.5. But I can't get behind it because I just do not trust Portland after what we saw yesterday. I'm going to skip the Rockets-Kings for a second because I do have a bet in that game. I'm going to go to the Nets-Clippers, the game that nobody cares about and somehow is the nightcap of our weekend. Nets are 13-point dogs, and the over-under is at 226.5. I don't like anything here. I mean, this is terrible. I took the Nets 18.5 when they were against the Bucks. They're not playing anybody in this game, and now they're 13-point dogs against the Clippers, who are playing on a back-to-back. I want to take the Clippers, but then when you look at it, the Clippers are probably going to take everything really easy today, especially playing a back-to-back. Kawhi's probably going to be back, but everything else, I just think they start playing their other players. However, how hard are they going to play? Probably not that hard. There's really nothing to play for in this game at all. So we got the Clippers minus 13. Honestly, if I had to lean, I would lean the Nets just because it's such a big number. But then the Nets have looked terrible against certain teams. They got that Bucks win, and everybody was like, what? And then they come out and lay an absolute egg against the Celtics with their better players playing. I don't know what to expect in this one. So I'm going to stay away from it. Over under at 226.5. I have no idea. No clue. No read on that. Absolutely. All right. Then we go over to the Houston Rockets, Sacramento Kings. The Rockets are favored by 5.5. The over-under is at 233.5. Okay. I like the over, but I'm not going to take it. It keeps going up. I feel like if you can get in maybe to live bet this game, get it down to like 228. If the teams start a little slow, you know that eventually things are going to open up. The game's going to start going. I do worry in this game that the Rockets just absolutely blow out the Kings. And then because of that, this doesn't go over. So I'm not going to go with that. I'm not going to touch the spread. It's so hard to bet against the Rockets on the spread because all they have to do is throw up 2 threes and all of a sudden you're no longer covering and it's absolutely brutal. And then I'm looking at some player props. And there's one that really sticks out to me because I do my research and I keep looking and I want everybody else to know that I do this research. There are some players that they pick up on right away and they fix it. And it's just done. It's over, whatever. There's other players they don't. Right now, the player that they're not paying attention to is Daniel House. Daniel House was only averaging 10.6 points during the season. That's it. But in the bubble, he has gone 20, 16, 17, 14. He's getting more minutes in the bubble. He's playing a lot of minutes. He has played 43, 31, 35, and 33. In the regular season, he was averaging 30 minutes a game. So he's playing a lot more minutes right now. He's gone over 13.5 points every time, and yet Vegas has not moved the line from 13.5. Go to the well every time until it doesn't work. If you've bet Daniel House every time at this 13.5 number, you've hit it 4 times. Even if you lose on this 5th time, you made your money. You win 80% on Daniel House. However, Daniel House ain't missing it this time. He's playing against a team that doesn't really play defense. He's been shooting so many threes. He had a terrible shooting day the other day. Terrible against the Lakers. Goes 2 of 9 from 3-point land. Still goes over 13.5. I know Russell Westbrook. I'm pretty sure Russell Westbrook's going to play in this game. We still haven't gotten word on if James Harden's going to be benched or not. But 2 out of 9 and still goes for 14. He's been putting in threes like crazy. He was 6 of 12 against the Mavs, 4 of 8 against the Bucks, 4 of 10 against the Blazers. I like him to go in here. I like him to get the job done against a bad Sacramento Kings defense. I like him to get 3 or 4 threes, and then all we'll need is 1 2-point bucket. That's all we're going to need. So I really like this one. I like this one probably the most. This is probably my favorite bet of the day. Daniel House going over 13.5 points. Put it on the card, and that's my card for the day. I'm taking it easy today. I got to take it easy. Finding too many bets is going to lead to too many losses. I'm tired of having bad days. Yesterday was an annoying day. It really pissed me off. Really frustrated me. So this is what I got. My card for today is the Cleveland Indians money line, Spurs +3, Daniel House over 13.5, Derek White over 16.5, and Zion Williamson over 21.5. I'll be back again tomorrow. Probably be talking a lot about NHL series spreads, which will be coming out. A lot of them are already out, or at least the 3 that you can bet are already out. You can get in on some pretty interesting futures bets in terms of what you think the series will be, how many games it'll go, all of that fun stuff. Also, check me out on realphilwood.com. I'm going to be putting out a huge NHL playoff preview, which will be coming out tonight. So you'll have a lot to look at, and you can dissect it there as well. And otherwise, good luck today. We're going to get back to our winning ways. Like the NBA, we're 11-4. Maybe we can make that 15-4, maybe 16-4 because we get that big winner there from the Blazers going over 3.5. Maybe we can get that up to 16-4 and be doing really, really nice. Get back to that 80% clip in the NBA. Wouldn't that be something? So thanks for listening. Keep on telling people about it. Tweet it out there. Whatever anybody does to get the word out about sports betting information. I feel like sports bettors are the people who are very quiet and they don't really tweet about anything. They just kind of like their people and they go and they make their bets and they disappear. But if you want to tweet this out, maybe we can get ourselves a couple more listeners and everything. We're trying to do this daily so that we can build this up as fast as we can. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow morning. And thanks for listening. Good luck.